Welcome back, our dear viewers. The Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia Sudani is on a current visit to Egypt. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi expressed on Sunday Egypt's eagerness to expedite the implementation of joint projects with the Iraqi Prime Minister and Iraq in order to accomplish their shared developmental objectives, promote integration between the two nations, and satisfy the needs of the Iraqi people. The president made the remarks in a meeting with the Iraqi Prime Minister, who is on his first official visit to Egypt. To shed more light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Latif Wahba, our journalist and Ministerial Council Affairs. Good morning, Mr. Wahba.
Good morning.
Sir, what's your take on the current visit by the Iraqi Prime Minister to Egypt, his first official visit to Egypt since he assumed office?
I think that in Iraq I heard relations on all different aspects. Egypt supports the Iraqi people, supported the Iraqi government to face the current situations, the current threat of terrorism, and also at the same time, during the last years, after President Abdel Fattah to power, held many meetings with the Iraqi leaders and Iraqi president, and also asked or directed the Egyptian government to resume the meeting, the annual meeting of the Egyptian Iraqi High Ministerial Committee.
Yes.
As you know, during the last 2 years, Egypt and Iraq held a meeting in Iraq and Cairo. And after the delegation of the President of Abdel Fattah al-Sisi with his counterpart in Iraq, they agreed on cooperation in all different sectors, and also Egypt and Iraq signed many memorandum of understanding agreement to increase the cooperation and also coordination in political questions in two countries. During this time, especially the last 2 years, Egypt and Iraq signed agreement to let Egyptian real estate companies to work in Iraq to contribute in reconstruction to rehabilitate the infrastructure in Iraqi provinces. And also they signed the agreement concerning how they can extend a pipeline for to transfer or to move the Iraqi crude oil through Jordan and then to the Egyptian borders of the Mediterranean Sea. At the same time, as you know, that Egypt also participated in rebuilding for the electricity and electricity power stations in Iraq itself. So this visit comes to review what has been done, what are waiting to done in futures, and to complete the agenda by Abdel Fattah and
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
To implement all the agreements signed by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his counterparts in Iraq, the Iraqi leaders. This is also will increase the cooperation. This is on one hand. On the other hand, as you know, that Egypt and Iraq also took many steps to increase the inter-trade between the two countries. Especially, as you know, that Iraq imported many basic commodities from abroad, and they changed it to the Egyptian market to get some of its needs to the Iraqi local markets and so on.
Yeah.
And sometimes, as you know, that they are now trying to push the cooperation for more, and they need a quantum leap to support all the cooperation in many different sectors.
Yes, indeed. Sir, also the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, was visiting Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, will chair the second round of the Egyptian-Iraqi Joint Supreme Committee today, later on. What's the importance of such a committee?
I think, as you know, that beside the official seniors attended from the two sides, we have also participating the businessmen and industries associations, chamber of trades in both countries. This means that they give a chance for the private sector to participate in the cooperation and between Egypt and Iraq. They are dependent on the private sectors as it is as the other phase of the cooperation. I think maybe today they will sign many agreements or memorandum of understanding between the two countries, especially in power sectors, in power and energy sectors, and also in construction.
Indeed. Also, the Prime Minister held meetings with the visiting Iraqi Prime Minister to discuss means of expanding the mineral resources in the localization of the technological industries, as well as supporting the industry sector and increasing the domestic component in several sectors as well. What's your take on that, Mr. Wahba? And what is the importance of such cooperation between Egypt and Iraq?
Yeah, of course. This is an important point as Iraq, since a week ago, they declared that they will establish a new city for technology and also for telecommunications in Iraq. So I think they need more experience, and as you know, that Egypt is one of the countries that achieved many progress in this sector. So they can cooperate and in this field. There is a new wave of development in Iraq. You have the chance to contribute at the same time in this way.
Indeed. Also, during his visit to Egypt, the Iraqi Prime Minister was received by the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmed al-Tayyib. The Sheikh also highlighted the importance of the mutual relation between Iraq and Al-Azhar in supporting the Iraqi students and express aspiration to enhance the scientific cooperation and the exchange of scholarships. How do you see the importance here of such a visit by the Iraqi Prime Minister to Al-Azhar?
As you know, that Egypt is leading the moderate Islam in the Arab world, in the Islamic world, and at the same time, as if you noticed during the last decades and so on, there is a confrontations between different sects in Iraq, Shia and Sunni and so on.
Yes.
But Grand Imam of Al-Azhar expressed for them the tolerance of Islam, the moderate Islam, away from Sunnah and Shia and so on. And at the same time, as you know, that Egypt played also an important role concerning the religious educations in Iraq when it hosted many students and scholarships in Al-Azhar University. It is important now for Iraq, as they are fighting terrorism and
of course.
and other different sects in Iraq itself. It is important to cooperate in education, scientific research, and also how to penetrate the moderate Islam all over Iraq itself.
Indeed. Finally, Mr. Wahba, how do you see the future relations here between Egypt and Iraq in light of the current visit by the Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani to Egypt?
As you know, that the two countries are working on the prosperity of their nations. And Iraq has different chances and different aspects of cooperation. At the same time, Egypt has many characteristics in different sectors, so they can cooperate, especially in the coming years. As you know, that all the countries, not only Iraq, not only Egypt, they are facing the world economic problem. So cooperation between the two countries means that you can elevate the severity of this economic crisis.
Indeed, Mr. Abdel Latif Wahba, our journalist, thank you so much, sir, for your very precious input. Always a pleasure. And with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of our program, The Breakfast Show. Till tomorrow with another crew, it's goodbye and have a lovely day.